regardless of what the position you're in, just notice how the breath's moving in and out of the nose tonight, how the abdomen feels, if it feels soft or tight. And then once you had a chance to feel those things, if there is improvement that you can make with your breath, then look to make it smoother and deeper. And if the abdomen feels tight or hard, just breathe into that area and see if you can encourage some softness. And then those of you with the belts around the legs, just remove them so that you can straighten the legs. And if you've got the legs folded, just make them be straight now. Yeah, that's it, Jennifer, if you slide down. Just notice if the change in leg position changes anything for you in terms of the breath or the abdomen. Crash bang. And then quietly make your way to your side. We are coming back to the floor, but you'll need to come up and take your blanket. And we're going to do our noodle roll. So the blanket, like it comes off the pile on a folded edge, we'll start to roll that up until you get a noodle shape, as firm as you can get it. And we'll start with the length of the spine. So have it in the middle of the mat, sit on the edge of it. You could have your feet against the wall if you need a bit more support tonight. And then the head comes to the floor, the shoulders are just floating. And initially you might feel a little wobbly, and then you'll find your balance here. Okay. But see that, yeah, you start off by sitting on the edge rather than having the buttocks on the floor. Yeah. It's always so much. Oh, the shoulders on the ground. No, I need to go further back. You need to come a little more this way because you're shorter as well. The blanket's longer than your spine. Yeah, excellent. So for you, you might even have the blanket further beyond the tailbone. That's okay. Yeah. And just see what you can feel in your own body in terms of length, right, broadness, shortness. It's not so much about correcting it. Sometimes we can't correct things in our body, but if you're aware of it, you get some more sensitivity around different areas that can be helpful then in the physical poses. Is that able to rest on the bolster, Jennifer, or is that okay like that? That's okay. Yeah, as long as it's not too much. And then without changing the feet, just notice what your feet are doing. And So if one is doing something quite different, what are you feeling on that side of the body? See if you can gather a little more information about what's going on for you. The foot easily roll out. How does the back of the hips, the sacral area of the spine, feel against that bolster? Noodle, sorry, not bolster. And then if the feet, the toes are rolling out, just turn the toes up to face the ceiling and see what that changes across that hip region. Be a little bit more effort on the legs. And if you've got one foot that needs it more than the other, see if you can tell without looking at the feet. And then relax the feet again and watch what happens. Last few moments. Walk the shoulder blades at the inner edge a little further down the middle roll, so the chest opens from the inside out. Backwards. More down this way, so you get that spread. But yeah, so it's more of a shoulder blade walk rather than shoulder walk. Yeah, you kind of get more of that shoulder stand. And then we'll bend the right knee and then the left knee and just roll yourself off to the side. Pull off the move, have a breath or two here. And then come up so you can see me. You're becoming on the floor, but to the wall. And everyone's got a set of ropes, so that'll make it a little bit easier. The purpose of this is not to be hard against the wall. The purpose is to see where can you get to with the hips on the floor, and the legs straight. So it might be that you're here, or you might even be here. But if the hips are floating, then you need to keep backing it up. Okay? So just see where you can start, so that you can have a look at your legs. And for some of you might need to add some hip support, but start with nothing, and then we'll add those. So go slowly so that you can feel the hips down, the legs straight, adjusting yourself. And then feel the shoulders down. Here we go, the shoulders can relax, and we'll do the same. Good. So now you can relax the shoulders. And then join the feet if they're apart from each other. And just have a look at them and see, do they look the same? Are they different? Is one longer than the other? One wider than the other? Hold straight and the other twist itself. And are the hips still on the ground now that you've joined the feet? And if they've lifted a little bit, just shuffle back so that those hips can be well on the floor. And see if you can join that bone of the big toe knuckles. So that's the bunion bone. If you get a bunion, that's where it comes out. Try and join that even if the heels themselves stay slightly apart. And notice if that changed anything. Roll the little toe edge of the foot down to the hips. Spread across the bones of the feet and the toes, just as you would if you were standing on the feet. That's it. Keep rolling those little toe edges down like that and press up onto the big toe knuckles. Feel how much effort that takes for the legs to be able to do it. Then with your eye from that bunion bone joint, draw a line down to the abdomen, and then from the abdomen draw a line to your chin, so that you just become more aware of the center line of your body. It's hard for us to figure this stuff out when we're standing on our feet. And then take the arms up toward the ceiling, so Uddhava Hastasana, but palms face in. Turn the palms so they face each other. That's it. Bring the shoulders toward the floor. Keep the arms straight, so lock the elbows, engage the kneecap thighs if they're not active. Extend to the fingertips. And then take the arms over the head toward the floor. And if they don't reach the floor, it doesn't matter, but keep the elbows tight wherever you can get into it. Arms facing over. And stretch the fingertips back. Just feel. What do the arms feel like here? Keep rolling the little finger in to face the other little finger. Keep reaching right to the fingertips. And then bring the arms back above the head. Have a look at the hands, the way they face each other, arms facing in. One rotate better than the other. And then release the arms down. Bend the knees, press the feet into the wall. Just rest there for a moment. Then roll yourself to the right and you're coming all the way up to the seat. So when you get yourself upright, just stand in the middle of your mat. It doesn't matter which direction you're facing. And join those big toe knuckles, just as you did on the wall. Take your time, don't rush. Even if the heels are a little bit apart, if they won't join, and find that center line all the way to the chin, so that you're now in Tadasana. Just feel left side of the body, right side of the body. Roll the shoulders back and down. Extend to the fingertips. Grow taller, be okay? Yeah, maybe flexible. Grow taller and taller. Feel as you start to grow taller through the trunk, let the shoulders stay down. They don't pop up quickly. Press the shoulder blades in. Keep spreading from that center line all the way out to the edges. Take the arms forward, so this is where they will go first. When you're on the floor, reach to the fingertips without drawing the shoulders forward. So keep the shoulders back and reach right to the fingertips. Make the hands feel firm. And then take the arms up, keeping the elbows tight and feel if they start to bend, stop there and hold them straight. It doesn't matter if it's just here or if they come all the way up. Just feel. How straight can you make the arms? Pressing the feet into the floor, squeeze the kneecap thigh muscle up, and then look up at the hands and see do they look the same or different. Does one rotate better than the other? Can you improve the side that needs a little improvement? And then release the arms forward and down. And relax. We're going to take the hands to the wall, but we're doing a little bit higher than our normal block shape. So it's really your shoulder height. And feel where your shoulders are. Place the hands on the wall at that height. Except for those of you that have a blanket under the feet when you're on the floor, you'll do the height of your head. So it's a little bit higher. And then from there, you just sit back enough so that you can draw the hips away so they stand above your feet, and your ears can come in line with the upper arms. So it's a slightly taller position than normal. But the hips stay above the ankles. Spread the fingers on the wall, spread the hands. Lift the heel of the hand off the wall, so it's just the fingertips on it. See if you can do that. That's it. You want to keep lifting the heel of the hand up, even if the fingers bend. Heel of the hand well off the wall, and then slide your thumb down further toward the floor. Feel the hands start to open up, and then keep that open and press the heel of the hand back up. Don't let the thumb slide back up. Hold it down and press the heel of the hand back into the wall. Press it in, Helen. You're confused, keep the thumb where it is and press the bottom of the hand back to the wall. So it goes all the way up. Yeah, heel of the hand up. Oh, yeah, but without that. Without that walking, we just hold it, and press it. Everyone got it? Press it down, squash my finger. Thanks. And feel how much more open the finger. Notice how the fingers are too big. That gets you back. This will feel it. If you go higher, take your hands higher up a bit and tell me just that you feel it. And better when the hands are a little bit closed. Yeah. Okay. And then just release for a moment so that you can rest. Feel as you stand facing your wall, if you can grow taller here. Notice what the feet are doing before you correct them. That's it. And so if the toes are turning out, just turn them straight forward. Make the feet neutral. Then squeeze the kneecap thigh muscle up. Roll the shoulders back and down, and as you replace the hands, start with the heel off the wall. Those of you that notice the fingers turn in, take the hands a little bit higher. Yeah, more hip height. And then draw the thumb down toward the floor so you open the hand up, and then as you're ready, press the hand back toward and hold the thumbs as open as possible. Just notice do the hands shift without you asking them to. Keep pressing the heel of the hand and then all the way up. That's it. Feel how that thumb slip. Now you'll just spine and then lengthen the side trunk back. So just walk and you reach back to the side ribs. Yeah, no, it's the opposite. So that this is that doesn't hurt. And then walk the feet in, take the hands off the wall, stand in the task, and you can turn back into the center of the room. Join the feet, and then pick up the toes, spread the bones of the feet and the toes, and then put them back on the floor without losing your big toe knuckle joint. Squeeze the kneecap thigh muscle up, and just as you are stretching back, feel that you can stretch through here. So the hips move toward the floor as the side ribs come up. Roll the shoulders back and down. And feel if you feel straighter, taller, sharper. Feel that just these tops of the shoulders release. And you can press right in the inner edge of each shoulder blade. It's not that you want to squeeze them together, but you want them to come toward each other so that the chest and the collarbone splits. That's it. And then interlace the fingers, press the palms forward. See that the little fingers hold to each other. And keep them that way, and as you take the arms up, elbows tight. If they start to bend, stop there, otherwise take them above the head. Press the feet into the floor, and then press up into the hands so you stretch the side trunk. And then lift the head, lift the chest, Look up at the hands. Hold the thighs back and up. Release the head forward. Take the hands down. Change the interlace, the fingers, so the weird way, the other little finger sits on the bottom. Just roll them over. That's it. And still full though. Nearly burning. And then press forward again. And go up, keeping the elbows tight, the kneecap thigh muscle tight. And just see where you get to without throwing the body forward. So lift the thighs back and up and reach the side trunk up. Feel the armpits open. Take the hands. Oh, Tim, you can Jules the other way too. Forward and down. We'll get it next time. But they still come forward and just roll them over each other rather than back. We're going to do it again. So do your normal interlace, the natural way, and then loosen and just roll the fingers over. So the other little finger sits on the bottom. So you don't pull them apart, just roll them over. And then once you've got it, roll them back the other way. And just roll across so that you keep changing. And you start to not know which way is normal and which way is weird. That's it. Yeah, good. And then cut off. So if you're feeling a little wobbly tonight and you want the support of the wall, we'll move closer to the wall. Otherwise, if you think you're pretty steady, stay as you are. We're doing Vrikshasana in 2 pose. So keep the kneecap thighs drawing up. Bring the weight more into the heels of the feet as it snaps forward to the toes. Press the left foot a little further into the floor and then pick up the right foot and feel as you reach for it, can you keep the thigh firm and bring the foot to the inner edge of the thigh. Is it okay? Don't do it if it hits that foot. Even if you don't need to lift it. This is fine. And same and then feel, did this thigh slide out to the side? Squeeze it back in toward the heel. Yeah, that's it. And that's what often throws us off balance. Good. And then release down. And just look. So regardless of where you get the foot, those of you around the knee, just take care not to push onto the knee joint. But if you're particularly getting it higher, you want the heel of this foot to connect to the inner thigh and the outer thigh, almost like a needle and a thread to try to join it. As if this is the button and you would sew in your button back on your shirt. Okay? And change sides. So hip or lower leg, the shoes, this is fine. You're still rotating. Otherwise, grow taller and stay tall. So as you reach for that right leg, keep the outer leg thigh in. And then bring it to wherever you can get it. And like sewing a button onto a shirt, connect the heel to the outer thigh. Yeah, I've got a wobbles tonight. I know, some nights our balance is way more challenging. And notice every time you slide out, squeeze it back in. So this leg stays in place. That's it. And then release it side. Join the feet. We'll do one more time. Press the left foot into the floor and feel that leg is not going to move as you bring the right leg up. Connect the heel to the outer thigh bone. And if you're steady, strong, straight arms, Urdhva Hastasana. Otherwise, keep the hands where you can use them. Feel the rotation of the thigh. Turn the palms well into each other. Lock the elbows. Grow taller. And then release the arms and release that leg. Join the feet. Last time. Press the right foot into the floor. Take the left leg up. And if it's connecting higher up the leg, thread the needle, join from both sides. Get steady, take the arms up and grow taller through the sides of the trunk. Extend right to the fingertips, all the way up. And this one, yep. Keep pressing into the big toe knuckle and inner heel of the bottom foot as we breathe. And then release the arms and release the hips. Tadasana. So we're going to take the bricks, even if you normally don't need them for Uttanasana. And face into the center of the room. Have the bricks tall and have the feet at least hip width apart, unless those of you that need wider tonight want to take it. Inhale and see if it feels better a little bit wider. And then just look at the feet and see if the toes are out, which most of us do this to some degree, where the toes slide out and heels are in, then just turn them straight so the toes are forward. And then once the toes are forward, pick up that outer heel so you get a straight line. If we were to put the brick there, you would line up with your brick rather than the heel being away from the brick. And have a look down the edge of the foot and go just a little way, just the heel down the heel of the foot. That's it. And then spread across the toes and we're going to the feet. Hold the shin, the outer calf to the shin and slightly forward. And then squeeze the neck, that thigh muscle up. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and down. Take the arms up, Uttanasana, up the elbows, and then start to come forward and keep reaching forward and look forward with your chin. Hold the legs steady, and then bring the fingertips to the bricks. And for some of you, you know you can normally go further, but stay here and look forward. Roll the shoulders out of the ears so the collarbones spread. And feel, is that thigh muscle squeezing all the way up, or is it not gripping? Just so that you can have your hips above your ankles and your wrists beneath the shoulders. Yeah, that's it. And then have a look at the feet and see, did they sneak back in with the heels? And if they did, pick up the heel and spread it out. You feel, is the abdomen soft or is it gripping? Let it soften. Look forward again with the chin. Imagine I was holding the side of your hip and I was then also drawing from your armpit forward. So you stretch the side of the trunk like you did on the wall. And then if you've got longer hamstrings and you know you can go further, you're just going to place the hand on the brick, bend the elbows out to the side, keep looking forward with the chin as if you were diving forward with the chin, and just go to where the legs can stay straight. And keep bending the elbows out to the side. Abdomen soft, and then just let the back of the head reach toward the floor. So the chest doesn't collapse, you just soften across the front of the chest and neck. Thighs well lifted. Squeeze the outer calf in so the shin has some support from the back. Last 2 breaths. Let the abdomen breathe, don't grip it. And then look forward again, straighten the arms if they would be, roll the shoulders out of the ears. So if you can, you'll come up with straight arms. If you're not 100% today, keep them for the hips. So look forward, raise the arms up or bring them to the hips. That's it. Feel how long you can make yourself feel, and then release the arms down and just relax the legs. Feel there's something changed, hopefully. So this time, we'll start off again with 2 bricks, and then we'll change into downward facing dog, okay? So if you think back before we go to when you were at the wall, and you had that work through the arms, that's basically what you're looking for in your dog pose, so that the arm becomes longer all the way to the hip. Okay? So set the feet up, spread the heels, spread the bones of your feet, so sharp line down the edge, squeeze the thigh up. If you can, take the arms up, otherwise bring them to the hips. Come forward, hands to the bricks. Roll the shoulders out of the ears, get long through the sides of the trunk again, so that you're already long before we move to dog pose. Keep the thighs lifting. Those of you that can go lower, bend the elbows. Take the head and the chin toward the floor. That's it. And then if you can with straight arms, if you can with no bricks, you'll do it with, no, I've got my words confused, I'm sorry. If you can with straight arms, you'll place the hands on the floor and move your blocks off to the side. If you need to bend the knees to do that, you bend the knees. Think about how you opened your hand on the wall and open it here, and then step the feet back into downward facing dog. And just feel what happens now that you're in this orientation. If you don't use a back support, so this back. Just tell me, does that do that? Good. Okay. So every time when you feel the pressure come on, you do it from the wall. Don't overdo your wrist. Your wrist. And there as well. She's a man. Oh. Feel the shape of the spine. Feel how long the side trunk can be. We're going to come down to the floor so you can have a rest, bend the knees, come down. So it's like a seesaw. So that it doesn't blow up here. You want to see the and then from your floor position, stretch the arms forward. Imagine you're looking at them when they are on the wall. So to your capacity, spread the fingers, draw the thumb towards your body as much as is okay for you. Yeah, and that was good. Some of you actually lifted the heel and then off the floor to spread. So that's good. That's what we did on the wall. Do that. Tighten the elbows to see that you can straighten the arms fully. And just look, some of you have got the fingers slightly turning in. Let them turn slightly out. It's much easier for tight shoulders if they turn slightly out. And Nick, for you, I've got a little bit wider with the hands, so they're more in line with the shoulder. If you know you don't have tight shoulders, then let them be more index finger, middle finger forward. That's it. Good. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, so be on that slanting plank, Jennifer, and come up into your dog pose and feel, did the hands move on you or did they stay? Yeah, that's good, Nick, in terms of distance. And then reach back from the armpit to the outer hip and get longer and longer like you did on the wall. Good, Tim, keep moving the spine in. Let the head be so that your ears are in line with the upper arms. Roll the inner upper arm forward and cut the outer upper arm back and down. So you feel strong through the arms. And then quietly bend the knees, come down and have a rest, child's pose. If child's pose is not comfortable for you, just lie on the floor. Is that better, Jennifer?
This does except on which side off.
Oh, so then you'll put it in between your mat and my mat. Have you got my mat under it? No. Well, it's cold. Yeah, I've got the towel. There must be something like this.
Oh,
Stability.
thank you.
Okay, one more time. We're coming up. So set the arms up, have a look at the hands. Make them as big as you can get them. And feel as you're pressing the hands and tightening around the elbows that you feel strong in the shoulders. So for that to happen, the inner upper arm has to move up to the ceiling, the outer upper arm moves down and onto the bottom. So your collarbones spread and you feel forward. Rather than the outer upper arm rolling in and shrinking the chest. And when you feel strong through the arms and the hands, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and come up. And make the hips really tall, so there's room for your spine to find its position. And take the back ribs in. Feel, did the hands change or would they stay in position? Somebody draw the hips back and up. You're okay. Yeah. And then bend the knees, come back down to the floor. I'm going to get you to come up and grab a chair each. Come up, grab a chair, and then go back to your mat. And once you've got the chair, facing your mat, if you lift the blanket or anything here, just move the this will be our last standing pose. So we're going to go right foot forward, left foot back. And if you need the wall for stability, you just go closer to the wall. Okay, so make sure you feel stable through the legs. Both legs will be straight. If you can, the back heel will be down. If you can't get the back heel down, we're going to go to the wall anyway. It's just more stable. And then you'll come forward, we'll go hands on the hips. So both legs are pulling up. You'll bring the fingertips to the chair so that you can really find some movement. Not the hands, so that you're not tempted to go lower. You want to go tall. Okay. But if the back heel lifts, you'll go closer to the wall. And press the back heel. Oh, good. I'm going to bring it. Let's turn it around the other way so it stays back to the wall. And then it won't move on. Yeah. And then you'll go hands to the wall. So you'll be more like this with that front foot. Good question. So you want it almost, if it was a clock face, it would be more toward 11 o'clock rather than 9 o'clock. So that then you'll hit the thigh bone comes into position. Yeah, that's it. And then you can spread. So if you all feel here, this should feel nice and broad rather than pinching together. And then you've got the hands on the wall or the chair, fingertips so that you can draw back into the shoulders and the arms feel strong. And grow taller through that side of the trunk. And just see how long, yeah, that's good. Make yourself. Which way feels better? Okay, so it's good experiment, well done. And then just see if it might be that back ankle, if you can turn toes slightly other way. So that if it turns, that's it. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Abdomen soft, roll the shoulders out of the ears. Good. And then press through the feet, keep the legs straight. If you can, bring the hands to the hips and lift up. Otherwise, bend the knees for injuries and knees. And then switch the legs over. Spread that leg foot. Step the right leg back to whatever you need in terms of support. And then start with the hands on the hips. And feel here, are the hips both facing forward? And it might be that this back heel needs to be up and then it'll need to be supported to release the hip. Put down. Yeah. And then if there's pinching toward the sacrum, spread out and lift the front of the pelvis up. So you're not dropping forward. Good. And then go forward, let the hips move back as your chest goes forward, and then fingertips to the support and lift the inside of the trunk. Hold the legs firm and steady. And just feel what are the hips doing? Is there broadness or is there pinching into the spine? So a fraction of this one. Toward this one. Yeah, that's it. Here and here. So feel as if your hips from the thighs are pressing in toward each other. Abdomen soft. Feel you can breathe here. Big toe knuckle of the front foot, keep it well pressed. We're preparing to come out. If you need to bend the leg to raise up, then do that. Otherwise, keep the leg straight. Bring the hands to the hips. Up from those strong straight legs. And step the back foot forward. And change. Last time. Same pose, last time. Whoops. Wobble. And those of you that can, will take the arms up. Otherwise, keep them on the hips. Feel once the arms come up that the back hip didn't slide away from you. So bring it around, lift the front of the pelvis up, broaden across the sacrum, extend to the fingertips, keep the legs tight as you start to come forward. And then start off with the fingertips. Reach longer and longer, that's it. Those of you that can, walk the hand under the seat of the chair to the bar underneath. And keep stretching long. And feel as the hamstrings become more challenged, can you feel if the hips have switched and dropped? Yeah, and see if you can straighten them up. Yeah, well, yeah. And then just start to bring the spine in away from the skin. So feel how this moves to my hand, move it away from my hand. Okay, so come up to it. And now move it in, away from my hand. Last, yeah, it's the last one. Yeah. And so we avoid that because it comes more into the hamstring. But we want this to start. So if you went with straight arms, you're going to attempt to come out with straight arms, unless you know it's too much. Otherwise, Bend the knee if you can't straighten and lift all the way back up to the top. Release the arms and change legs. Last time. So again, you can choose whether it's hands to the hips or Utkamastasana. The arms are up, making an extension of the sides of the trunk. Burn the feet, burn the thighs, and then let the hips move back as the chest and the arms go forward. So that you're already long. And then fingertips to the chair. Start off tall, balance the hips. Those of you that have that struggle with the back of the body, yeah, good, Cindy. Move the spine and the same time. Yeah. Exactly. And if you look forward, is it the middle or okay. Last few breaths. So it's not completely drop, but it's not and then use the legs and come up. And then inhale and come up and then get it. Yes. And I'll just do this. Good job. Release the arms. Well done. Very disciplined. So I'm just going to show this. It's good for all of us. Take your hands to the back of your head where you feel that big round bony part of the head. So not just beneath it. There's a lot of nerves in this part, so it's not helpful if we stick our fingers in there basically. And imagine, well, if you can, turn the fingers as if someone else was doing this, so that you catch across that bony part. Mr. Iyengar used to call this the epic of the skull. And you just want to feel that you're drawing it up away from the head. So it should feel good. If it doesn't, tell me and don't keep doing it. But this should start to lengthen and give some space and relief. So if you get migraines, yes, this is a really helpful thing to do. You just want to give some space to all of those nerves that can often get quite compressed, as well as the actual cervical spine too. And you just bring the hands down. So it's a simple way. If you start to feel a headache come on, and I've got students who get really bad migraines and they do this, and it just helps release it out. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And if you notice when you're busy during the day, you know, if your tendency is this, it's so easy for us to have really bad neck positions. Then you want the shoulders down, you want that spreading, and as if someone was just drawing that part of the head. Yeah. Okay, we're going to come down to the floor. So keep your chair up, and we're going to sit on the bolster, facing your chair. So if your chair stays where it is, and I'm going to do a demo on these now. So while the bolster is a little buffier than when we stack the blankets, we're going to attempt it tonight. So we're going to right leg in front of the knees. If the ankles, those of you with ankle issues, you're just going to roll or fold a noodle plate shape, and then you'll cross the legs on top. So that should soften any catching in those ankles. And then you'll have your chair here where you can reach it. Okay? And then we can always add a bit more height to anyone who needs it for their hips. So Like, oh, for the hips, they're good. And the ankles are okay. So if you've got no hip or knee problems, then you'll attempt, instead of being more of this open cross positions, you'll attempt to walk the feet underneath the legs. So your cross becomes higher up the leg. Hips, knees and ankles, it might need to be wide. And if there's a knee issue, rather than to flex the foot, then let it be slightly pointed. And ankles, see what one feels better for the ankle. And then just lift up on the bolster so that you can sit a little firmer on the sitting bones. And so you can see that forward blanket under the sitting bones, just for a bit more. Press the fingertips into the side of the bolster and use that same principles of what we've been doing. Roll the shoulders back and down and increase the distance between the armpit and then imagine someone is lifting the ear of the scalp for you. Let the neck keep long from the back. Keep the shoulders down and tip forward slightly so that your arms, fingertips can come to the center of the chair. And just feel as the hands came forward, did the shoulders roll up and did the ear of the skull get closer to the shoulders? And see, can you turn that back the other way? That's it. And then anything from here on in is really hips and groins, which will stop you or allow you to go further. So if your hips are telling you they don't want to go further, then stay where you are. Otherwise, reach the hands to the back of the chair so that you get further along. And some of you here will be able to rest the forehead on that chair without disturbing the work of the shoulder, curl, and back. Abdomen soft. Breathe smooth and steady in and out through the nose. Feel that the groin can release down. That's it. Yeah. And even if you still want to keep it underneath the arms and legs quite down, that people got, so that it's still supported, you tuck that one. Yeah, and if it's too tall, to lock down. Is that good? Yeah. Last few breaths here, let everything soften. Think about the center line work that we started with, from the joining of the feet up through the center of the body to the chin. So even though the feet are now crossed, from wherever they're crossing, draw the center line up, and let the left and the right side spread out to the side. And then those of you that are further forward, and then just look forward and bring the hands back to where you're a little more upright, that's supported, and then lift yourself up, fix the hands, and then we'll change the cross of the legs. Other leg in front, and Jennifer, let's go both legs straight this time. And if you can, press them onto that back bar of the chair, so you that elbows down. And then roll the shoulders back and down, grow taller and taller. Feel that the ear of the skull can reach up. You spread the collarbones, the space to the heart. And then forward to the point that you can get to. And then use the fingertips just to keep drawing a little more length to the side of the trunk. And then as things feel ready, keep walking the fingers across to the back of the chair and see what this side Wherever you get to is fine. Keep that softness in the abdomen space. Do you want to reach that side of the foot? Let's see if that helps. Feel long through the sides of the trunk. This is the unnatural cross of the legs for you. Let's see, is it the hip that really is tighter here? That's why it's the unnatural one. Whichever one is your unnatural cross. When you're at home, just sit and cross legs and sit one extra time with that tighter hip as the front leg. Nice deep breaths. And then look forward, especially if you're further in, so that you can draw back and just release through the shoulder girdle to come back up to the top. Uncross the legs, just give them a shake for a moment. And then we come into Baddha-Konasana, soles of the feet together. And if ankles need support, you could wrap that blanket around so that it catches both sides of the ankles if they need some support. And Jennifer, this will be too much. Yeah, pushing into nice and good. And then just feel from the groin to the inner knee that you can lengthen. So it feels long from the outer knee up into the hip. It's a drawing back in action. Feel that the little toe edge of the foot is pressing firmly to the other so that you get a good seal of the feet. And then lift the chest, roll the shoulders back and down while reaching up at the back of the skull. And bring the hands to the seat of the chair. You can move the chair closer or further from you, depending on what you need. And then if this is maximum for you, then you stay here. Otherwise, go further. If you can rest the head, but hold that connection of the legs into the hips. Is that okay? And notice if one foot starts to move away from that center line, and press it in a little bit more and feel what changes in the hip as you do that on that side. Abdomen soft, breath soft. And little toe edge of the foot, Jennifer, draw it back to where you do the thighs stay tight. Feel if one knee is much lower than the other, or if they feel fairly even. Last few breaths. And then look forward if you're further forward. Use the arms to help you come back. Take the hands to the knees, and then straight on to the legs. Just let them go. So you're going to take your feet from inside the chair to outside the chair, so that they're wide legs. And you'll go as wide as your legs will let you go. So if they can go really wide and you're close to someone, you can shuffle to the other side, or forward and back. So that, and as long as that hip issues, as long as it's not irritating, it's fine. If it's irritating, we'll work on it. And then just look at the feet and see what direction are they falling in. And if they're falling in or they're falling out, just make them. So you're on the center of the heel of the foot, you're not rolling in or out. Squeeze the kneecap thigh muscle up. Use the hands beside the hips. Fingertips are a little bit better, you can access the inner upper arm more. And just like the Baddha-Konasana, it's long through the groin to the inner knee and back up to the hip through the outer leg. So here you've got those resistances. And if this is enough for your body, you'll stay like this. Otherwise, you'll bring the hands to the chair If you can go forward as well, you can always push the chair. You might be able to rest the head on the seat of the chair with the arms. Feel that the feet don't roll forward or back. They stay upright. So that your kneecap thigh muscle stays firm and the legs stay straight. That's it. Again, abdomen soft so you can breathe. Feel if the shoulders have crept up or if they've stayed down. Just a few moments here. Look forward from wherever you are. Press the heels to the hips so the legs stay full and stable. And then wherever you're at, you'll bring yourself back to the hip. And then bring the feet in. We are going to use the chair. We'll do one more pose before Shavasana. So, low back Shavasana, which is nice for the abdomen. You take a blanket and half fold for the head. And then bolster long ways across the chair. Those of you that get floating hips here, you need another blanket just to put underneath the hips. But you want your knees directly above the hips, so not pressing them away. You have to pull it in close enough and then hit on the blanket. It should feel instantly good. If it doesn't, just let me know. So the abdomen can rest, the hips on that. If you would prefer to go this time. That should be just that's because of your leg. And to the lower back. Yeah, and that gives the energy. They're pretty straight. I don't know if it's like it could be slightly more, but but if it's a little picture, so don't shut the back. Yeah, it's not bad. As long as it feels like abdomen can relax to the side.
There's nothing that you.
Yeah, that's good. And then think about that epic of the skull again. So if the tendency is for that to shorten, then watch it here as well and see if you can lengthen it. So a few moments here. Feel that the jaw's soft, it's not gripping. And if it is feeling tight, follow it all the way up to your ears and see if that is also tight up in that part of the jaw. Just do what you can to get it to soften. So the face feels soft and relaxed and the skin just spreads across it. Let the tongue rest in the bottom of the mouth so it's not pushing into the teeth. Spread the skin in between the eyebrows. There's just a broadening and softening happening through the body. Not forcing anything, just encouraging it to go in that softer direction. Last few moments here. And gently place the hands on the body. And just feel that as the hands place on the abdomen is soft like butter melting. And you'll quietly release the legs off the support and just roll to your right. Have a breath or two here. And then we'll set up for classical shotzi. So push the chairs out of the way. Have a blanket with the layers on just use your other options. Sometimes it's deciding and you can decide that you can go and start something with the and get on the ground, at the back can relax. Yeah, it's good to experiment and every day. Sometimes we do different things. And if it's too much, you just so as you start to position yourself here in Shavasana, just feel what's needing to relax more, if anything. You don't have to put any work into anything now, just let it all be soft and quiet. Still feel that the center of the chest has its internal lift, not by forcing, but just by gently guiding the shoulder blades in and letting the collarbones spread. Let the fingers relax, let the toes relax. The skin on the face needs to soften, keep softening it. Just look for quiet moments where nothing happens in the brain and look to expand them as it naturally happens. If the brain's busy, just use the breath. Let the brain watch the way the breath moves. And very gently, just start to bring your awareness back to the surface. Notice breath, body and brain, how they feel. Let the hands rest on your body. Feel if it feels like there's space underneath the hands on the inside of the body. And then bend the right knee, and then the left knee. Just roll yourself onto the right side. Have a few breaths there before you come up and sit. And sit on anything, in any position that's comfortable. So even here, if you need it. Feel that that epic of the skull is long and lifted. The shoulders release away from it. You can spread the collarbones. Press the palms together. And push them firmly into each other. And surrender the head nice and long from the back of the neck toward the heart. Namaste. Thank you. Okay. Have a good sleep. That was a great peaceful discussion.